Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. This one's going to be on the top 3 stocks for the week, and it's not just going to be 3 stocks. I'll give you guys a few more that I'm watching as well. But there are a lot of good setups in the market, and last week was a little bit difficult. So let's go straight into what happened last week. I mean, we had a lot of good trades, but also a couple of red trades. So Monday was positive. Tuesday we only had one red trade. Wednesday was off. Thursday we had only one red trade, but a bunch of good wins. And then Friday, two trades in total. One SPY lotto that ended up expiring for 0, and then a SMCI put that went 200%, so I ended up profiting. Overall on the week, green week, but a couple of swings that did not pan out because the market actually had a red day last week finally, but that also killed some of my calls for the week. Now, for the week, we had 14 wins and 6 losses, which was, okay. It wasn't a crazy week, but decent. One of the other stats that I put out for my members is for the past 4 weeks of trading, we had 60 wins and 18 losses, which was also fantastic. Just a lot more wins than loss, and keeping the losses small with the profits really high. Again, I'm up huge for the past 4 weeks and have done very well. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I've been doing and keep on, making money with the members and with the group. So if you're going to catch these plays, all of the plays that I alert are all in this Discord room. Link is in the descriptions below if you want to catch those plays. All right, with that, let's take a look at what the market's going to do. First things first, SPY, I think, we hit kind of a top. Again, I talked about this 550 level, which was the big level to watch out for, and that is basically where SPY hit on Thursday, and really hard rejection, and SPY dropped quite a bit, dropped all the way down to 545, and then Friday we kind of just sideways between 545 and 542 and so on and so forth. So it was kind of like a very, very sideways day. On Friday, nothing really happened. But yeah, Thursday was the bigger red day. And, if you look at Thursday, you can see that I did do quite a few puts. I did, SPY put for 60%, QQQ put for 80%, and then, another QQQ put, same one for another 50%, and then at the end of the day, did a bounce play on QQQ for 140%. So I did manage to catch the market while it was going down, and I had to pivot because in the morning I was playing SMCI call, and I had to close this SMCI call and just pivot and get rid of my bias for the long side and go short and take advantage of that short side on the market. And it worked out really well because that was the right decision to play the market as it was going down and make money off of it. But yeah, again, that's kind of how it goes. Now 150 on SPY is the top for now. That is the area, not 150 but 550. 550 is the top for SPY right now, so that's the area that we're going to be watching to see if SPY maybe curls up this week and then breaks out and just runs through. But again, that's a tough call because what if this is the top and then we start kind of pulling back down and then curl back up? So that's something that I'll be watching as well on the SPY. Maybe a decent red week this week into maybe the week after that, a nice positive green week. But yeah, you just don't know in an election year what the market's going to do. So usually the election year's market tends to be very bullish. So we'll see if we can get a nice red week this week with, the semiconductors being red and some of the tech stocks being red. So something to keep an eye on. Of course, mentioning semiconductors, NVDA, AMD, and these guys will really impact the way QQQ moves. But personally, I think QQQ, it got so close to 500. I think that everybody's going to be looking to see if QQQ can go to 500 because that's a big level, right? That's the halfway point between 0 and 1000. It is a pretty big level to watch out for. So that's something that I will be keeping an eye on QQQ. As for short, I think 478 breaks this week on QQQ. We can take it down to maybe like 470, 468 for the week. And if a SPY can maybe break somewhere around, I would say like 540, we can start taking it inside this gap towards like 535, 537 area, which would be a pretty nice move. Under that 537, I would say we can start going down to like 530, 531. So a lot of room to go down, of course, because the market has been very strong this year. But yeah, let's see what the market gives me. With that, let's go talk about our top 3 stocks for the week. First one is Airbnb. Just a very simple idea. Bullish flow on the stock coming in. 150 150 area is the big level of resistance. So if we break it, we got a gap to fill all the way up to 156 roughly. So it's about a 5-point gap fill, 5 to 6 point gap fill that I want to take advantage of. So I'll keep an eye on it and try to make that play. Basically, I'll do a $155 call and try to catch the move to the upside. I did play Airbnb last week and it was up like 20%, but I didn't take profit because I thought it was actually going to break out and go into the gap. But I ended up taking a loss on this play because the stock never moved. It literally stayed at the same spot for the entire week, and that just sucks. So I want to catch it this week if it goes and starts getting into that breakout level and into that gap. So watch out for Airbnb. Could be pretty good this week, and not a bad chart setup. Number 2, CRM. I think probably my favorite chart setup. Now I do know that it's a tough one because CRM could move with the market. If the market is really red, then the bullish setup is not going to be there. But again, I do really like this bullish setup. We got a buy signal here with the flow turning positive and a decent increase in this flow. It's a pretty decent bullish day. And then we got a massive gap to fill above this, I would say like 240. What's the exact level here? This would be the high of this candle, if I can actually do it, 246.75-ish. Yeah, 246.75 roughly. If I can draw it perfectly or get close to drawing it perfect, boom, there you go. 246.75 is the high before the gap fill. So what I'm looking for is for CRM to basically go ahead and break that so that we can go and fill this gap or get some of it, because the gap is actually all the way up to 267, which is a pretty big gap. It's like 20-point gap fill. So even if we can get like 255, 250, that's still like 5 to 10-point gap fill, and it will be a really good win. So I'm thinking maybe like a 250 call or a 255 call to the upside to catch this play and make some nice profit. If it does reject near 250, maybe we can bring it back down on this week under 230 and see if we can get a short setup on it under 230. But yeah, really good setup, simple, very clean, really like the way it looks. Last but not least is WDAY, and personally I really like WDAY because it is like starting to look really interesting. Now, first things first, we do have a bullish flow with buy signal coming in on the stock right here, and I like that because that tells me that the stock has kind of found a little bit of a base right here that I enjoy. And it's basically, it broke through that base, it consolidated within the zone, and then it finally broke that zone on Friday. So that's a good sign, especially because Friday was a very sideways day. So for this stock to get some decent flow is a good sign. If you notice, there's also this part where the red EMA is almost about to turn green, which kind of signifies that we're getting into a bullish trend on the stock. So for this coming week, you're basically looking for the stock to break out of the high of Friday, which is probably like 220, roughly 220. So if we can break the high of 220, we have this entire space to fill. And I mean, like, this is a gap from 220 all the way up to like 260, which is massive 40-point gap. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think we're gonna go ahead and fill that entire gap. All I'm looking for is for this stock to go up to go from 220 all the way up to roughly around 227, maybe to 230. Just get like a 10-point move to the upside, because that's a decent fair value gap on the upside. It's just a really clean setup. If I show you the weekly chart on the stock, you will see that it's really nice. Like this has a fair value gap on the weekly all the way up to 245. So it just looks clean. Of course, the weekly hasn't turned positive flow yet, and it looks like it hasn't really broken out of the zone just yet, but the daily chart looks too clean and too good not to pass out. And of course, make sure you keep an eye on it for the week, because it could build this week and break out around Wednesday or Thursday and really get that move that I'm looking for, that 5 to 10 point move. So it could be really fun, and it's a pretty volatile stock, so it has a lot of room to go up and fill that gap. So really like this setup, really enjoy it. Just honorary mentions of a couple of stocks that I think also are really good. The one of them is AVGO. Just watch this gap fill on the downside, potential gap fill. If it breaks around the 1650, you can get a nice little gap all the way down towards like 1500. Could be really interesting. Also watch Apple, because Apple could do a lot of things. It could either hold this support right here around this 207, 206, or break it and go fill this gap, fair value gap, all the way down to 197. So Apple could also kind of do a lot of things. I will say the flow kind of shows a red flow here on Friday, so more likely a downside move on Apple than an upside move, but something to watch out for. And of course, there's one more stock that you want to keep an eye on, and that is PanW, because PanW, again, like last week, has just been sidewaysing. Nice in cup and handle pattern. Just if it breaks through 325, that's your long for the gap fill to 360. So lots of good charts set up in the market. There's probably a bunch of other ones in the market to watch out for, but these are the ones that I like the most. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get into the room, check the link in the descriptions below to sign up. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace.